Right, so let's see how it handles through the twisty bits. As you can see, it's got plenty of power. Like, even though it is a sports tourer, it feels like a sport bike to ride. What's happening, my epic people? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing amazing. Riding season is now upon us, and I do feel like actually it came a little bit earlier than usual, because I think it doesn't usually feel this hot sort of this early on in May, and here we are, so it feels great. But today is time for me to reveal the bike that I've been sort of hunting for my next one. Like I said in previous video, I've been looking for a bike which I can then begin to become a motorcycle instructor, something I can use daily, something on the weekends for a blast, pretty much something that could do it all. Bar off-road, of course. Obviously you see me test ride the Street Triple, a little brief clip in the last video, and also the Ninja 1000 SX, and then of course the Africa Twin. Now I wasn't quite getting along with the Africa Twin for many different reasons. I've said in my previous video, but I'll go through them when we're on the ride. But anyway, without further ado, the Ninja 1000 SX, it was a 2020 model from C-Star Superbikes. I'm very, very pleased with it. It pretty much ticks every box, and I don't know if you can sort of gather from the last video where I took out for a test ride. You could already tell I was quite happy with it, and it just ticked every single box. And I've had it now for a little while, for a few days or so, and I've fallen for it. It's just a perfect bike. It does absolutely everything I need, and it looks the absolute dog's nuts. It looks like a sport bike, rides like a tourer, but with all the handling and everything, it's very, very crisp in the bends, all the good stuff. But we'll talk about that when we get on the road, and tell you what I really think now I own the thing. Anyway, so here we are then, the epic Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX. This is 2020 model. Like I said, I got it from C-Star Superbikes, which is in Newton Flockman, just outside of Norwich. Now, try my best not to run the risk of repeating the same conversation I had with the test ride, because I'm not going to go into all the details or anything like that. And if you want to see those specs and stats and things, and sort of more in depth on how I felt with it, then I'll pop it up the top here now. Also, if you want really in depth, then you should definitely check out other people's reviews online, like MT-10 and 44 Teeth and places like that. There's plenty on there. This is more me just expressing how happy I am with it, because it is a great bike. I really do feel like I can just connect with it. I've gelled with it so well, and it's not big and cumbersome. I don't feel like I've got to really wrestle it around. I feel like it just does a lot of what I want, what I require from a bike, especially when it comes to in the future, hopefully going forward this summer, following students around. I didn't want a bike where I'd have to second guess my maneuvers and things. I would just wanted something I can just get on, comfortably go. It's smooth, and it doesn't sort of drown out instructions to students and things like that. So it's just such an easy bike to get on with. But also knowing that when it comes to the weekends, I can blast around on it and still feel like I'm having loads of fun without feeling like I've just sort of dumbed down the reason I got into bikes. But I love sport bikes. I just couldn't justify owning one for the things that I need a bike for. I don't just have a bike for playing around on the weekends, waiting for the good weather, fair weather riding, which is nothing wrong with. I just require a bike for more than that. So I'm more of an all-year rider, and especially as I'm going to be becoming an instructor, I will be an all-year round rider. So I needed a bike that could do a bit of everything. It's got a fairing, it's got a screen, it's got all the power, it's got all the electronic wizardry and things to help me not second guess my riding so much. But also when I come to junctions and things, it doesn't feel like it's going to get bent out of shape, or you know, want to topple over on me. And because I'm only 5'8", I didn't want a bike that is, you know, really tall and, you know, although I know I can ride them, I'm quite capable, but all day long it becomes a bit more of a chore. Now, any of those who ride a taller bike but they're a little bit on the shorter side, like myself, who's 5'8", will know what I'm talking about. Good fun to do, you know, great to throw around, but can get a little tiresome. Whereas this doesn't feel heavy, doesn't feel clunky, it doesn't feel tiresome. It feels like I'm throwing a sport bike around, but with the comfort of something that's nice and upright. It's great, it's really, really good. And if you're thinking about trying to find something to maybe step away from the adventure bike, but you're not quite sure what, but you still want the comfort of one, this is definitely one of those sorts of bikes. I can load it up with luggage, I can, you know, get some soft panniers or even the hard panniers that Kawasaki provide. We'll get a nice tank bag, you know, I can still fit a quad lock to it on the piss, might I add. But so if anybody knows how I can get that nice and straight, that is really, really annoying. It's almost like the stem, the fork stem mount doesn't quite line up with the hex shape, so yeah, it's a bit yeah, I just don't want to talk about it because it's going to stress me out. No, I can't. I've taken it apart, moved it around and done all sorts of things with it. But also big shout out to Quadlock. They so when I first got this bike, I decided to try fit the fork stem mount, and then I ended up undoing something, and there was like a top hat nut that I'd lost somewhere inside the bike, which I think is underneath the airbox, or maybe it's fallen out on one of my rides or whatever. Anyway, so I got in contact with Quadlock and I asked them if they could send me the little top hat nut, which they said that they don't provide that as a spare part. But what they did do was send me out a whole brand new fork stem mount unit. So they really didn't have to, because I would have found a substitute somehow, or whatever, or unless they knew that I couldn't just get a CNC, you know, anodized machine out of just nowhere. So big thank you to Quadlock. They were awesome, absolutely awesome, for sending me out a whole new unit. They really didn't have to. So if you guys are thinking about going Quadlock, or you're I'm in a know and you don't quite know, well, that should seal the deal. Their customer service was brilliant, so fab job on that one. Anyway, back to the bike. So far I'm still yet to find something that makes me go, well, you know, I wouldn't mind another bike that could do such and such, because it does everything so well. Now I know it's going to have its limitations somewhere, but I'm pretty content with what it is, and I truly believe that people are going to say, oh yeah, alright Sam, within a month or two you're going to start looking elsewhere. But I genuinely feel that this time I have found a bike that is going to be here long term. I think this is the one, and everything else after that is a bonus on the side of this bike. This feels like it's a bike that I could just foresee using, you know, for the foreseeable. So let's see how I get on with it as an instructor, and then I'll report back in a few months time and let you know how I get on with it in that setting. But so far, in the setting of going out with my mates, you know, having a weekend blast, going to and from places, commuting, that sort of thing, this is really doing well. It's got absolutely everything I need. Quick shifter, it's got the screen, it's got the adjustable suspension, very easy what I had with the preload. There's a preload adjuster on the rear, and you literally just dial, you just twist. Even though I have got a quick shifter and auto blipper, I still find myself using the clutch quite a lot. Force of habit, I guess. Don't get me wrong, I've played with a lot of bikes with a quick shifter and auto blipper, but I just still I still find myself using it just force a habit. I think I use the quick shifter up more so than I do down, but that's just because it feels really smooth going up, but coming back down it's like you've got to be really in the right sweet spot to get it right, to where it feels nice and smooth. But there's also a point where if you do it too slow, too low down the rev range, it doesn't allow you to actually use it. Alright, let's go down some of my favourite little twisty roads. Oh, it's definitely getting nice and warm now. When you actually have to lift your visor when you come to a stop. That's when you know we're in riding season. Right, so let's see how it handles through the twisty bits. The brakes work phenomenally as well. On the brakes. As you can see, it's got plenty of power, drives through the bends. It is paired with those Bridgestone S22s. The handling is superb. Now I don't know what they're like in the wet. I haven't had any wet days with it yet, which is not something we say very often here in Blighty, but very, very pleased. I am absolutely in love with this bike. It's just so spot on. Kawasaki really do know how to make a bloody machine, and they always fell underneath my radar. Like, I'd always look at it, but wasn't really what I wanted. I never really went for a Kawasaki. I always thought they were cool looking bikes, and I knew that they made powerful sport bikes, but other than that, wasn't really what I was looking for. Also, I thought, like, even though it is a sports tourer, it feels like a sport bike to ride. Just awesome bike to ride. And it soaks up all the lumps and bumps very well, even if I'm sort of pushing it into some horrible little lumps and bumps in the road. It's brilliant, really, really good. And I can only imagine that the electronics are so clever that it's just knowing what's going on as my inputs happen. And you'd never guess it's such a large sports tourer. You'd think you're on a sport bike. It makes you feel like you want to go take it to the track, which I definitely will at some point. Quality piece of kit. Loving it, absolutely loving it. Anyway then, my guys, look, I don't want to make this really, really long. I'm just certainly enjoying the ride as best I can. I'm going to end that one there. Now you know what I've been up to, what bike I got. Certainly expect to see some more videos. Now I've got a new GoPro as well. I've got the GoPro Hero 12, so I can get some really nice quality videos out there. So you will be seeing a bit of a change in settings and things for the time being, just while I fiddle around with all the sort of GoPro settings and things, until I know what I actually want to use as my go-to settings for different things. So bear with me, guys, I will be figuring it out. If anybody can sort of give us any advice on that, drop it down in the comments or pop me a DM. I would really, really appreciate that, so I can know how to use this GoPro a lot better. And if you guys have got any advice on the bike, anything I should know about, any accessories, do's, don'ts, pop it down, let me know. And what sort of what windscreen should I be going for? That's what I really want to know. Thinking like a nice dark smoke one, but just a bit taller, take some of the brunt of the wind off me. Yeah, pop it down in the comments, drop me a DM, let me know. Alright, for now, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace out.